All right, here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my Friday energy forecast. I'm excited to be here today. So there's a lot happening right now. A lot happening. The December energies are no joke. They literally are asking us to like voluntarily go into a dark night of the soul, you could say. Um, you know, December is going to be an intense month, and I've been studying the astrology pretty closely and just feeling into the energetics of it myself. And there's a lot of opportunity here, but there is a lot of like stuck emotional energy that's going to be like drudged up and come to the surface for us to really look at and move through. So this is a it can feel like a really intense time, and I know there's a lot of people that are kind of like feeling like they're going through it right now, as far as really being forced from circumstances that are seemingly out of their control, and being, forced into situations or experiences where they really need to look at themselves and face some deeper emotional patterns that have been going on for your whole life, basically. So I'm seeing that this week has the potential to, continue with this intensity, but there also feels like there's going to be like a lightness to it as well, and an opportunity for you to go deeper into your own creativity, your own zone of genius, so to speak, the thing that you are really good at and the thing that you are really meant to do. It feels like you're going to be shown what that is and another aspect of that in an even deeper way. So, um, along with this intensity and along with this like emotional drudging, so to speak, you are also going to be like shown a glimpse of what is on the other side of that deep emotional pain that you're being asked to work through. So if you are watching, definitely say hi and let me know that you're here. I'd love to say hi to you. So yeah, so that's kind of what I'm tuning into this week. And what I am seeing, with my clients and with myself is there's something that you're being shown, right? There's something that you are needing to face right now that hasn't really come up before. And if it has, it hasn't really been this clear to you. So, what I'm seeing with almost everybody is there is some pattern or dynamic or deep core wound that you are now being shown that it's time to really shift this. It's time to deeply acknowledge something that you haven't been able to acknowledge in the past and really move through it so that you can step further into your zone of genius, what you are meant to do on this planet. And also, the other thing that I'm seeing is like if there was anywhere where you've been holding back, right? Where you have not been fully expressing yourself, where maybe you're going at 80%, now you're going to be invited to go 100%. Like you're going to be, hi Colleen, hi Juanita. You're going to be asked to fully express yourself, fully show all your cards, fully show where you stand. Because the other thing, oh, this is the other thing, the people pleasing stuff. So, the people pleasing stuff is really big, and you might have seen me post about that this week. I had those fun infographics made, and I really want to talk about this because I see it coming up for a lot of people, and it can be really sneaky and it can come up in different ways for different people. But the people pleasing dynamic is really a pattern of self betrayal, right? It's a way that you were conditioned as a child to become something you're not, or to put your needs to the side in order to receive love, right? So, and connection and care or whatever, in order to have your needs met, right? So, the way that this can show up for people is different, but it's whatever way you have been denying your own needs or giving to other people when you don't actually want to, or saying yes when you really mean no, or putting other people's feelings above your own and doing things that you actually don't want to do because you feel obligated or you feel like you owe somebody something. This is all that people pleasing dynamic where you are literally betraying yourself because you feel obligated to do something for somebody else, to be something for somebody else, or to put someone else's emotional needs above your own. So here's the kicker in all of this. The kicker in all of this is that when you do that, it actually paralyzes both parties, because when you say you are putting, you're in a codependent relationship where the other person, you're always putting their emotional needs above your own, and you rarely ask for what you need, and you rarely are needy in the relationship because it's all about the other person, right? This is sometimes that like empath narcissist kind of dynamic that I think a lot of people are familiar with. So when you do that, what you're essentially doing is you are telling yourself that your needs don't matter, and it doesn't matter what you want because that doesn't matter. You have to show up for the other person. So essentially, you are saying that you are not worthy to yourself. And then to the other person, through your codependent actions, you are saying to that person, you can't do it on your own. You are not capable. You are not competent. You need me to hold you. So, do you see how that is detrimental to both people? It's like, you need me to hold you, so you're not worthy, and I'm not worthy because I am not putting my emotions first, my feelings first. And I'm telling myself my feelings don't matter. So that's like the classic codependent relationship, and this people pleasing dynamic. Hi, Karina. I'm glad you're here too. The people pleasing dynamic is part of that. And I'm bringing it up because I'm seeing a lot of people move through this in different ways. And one of the ways that it can show up for people is around money. And this is a really easy example because we can really relate to this, and it's tangible. So what I see with a lot of people is they will hit like a money ceiling, or they're only able to make a certain amount of money. And what I can always see within people is how their ability to bring in more money directly relates to the way that they allow their boundaries to be infringed upon for other people, right? So every time you make more money, you have to increase your boundaries. It always happens, because what boundaries are is they create a safe space for you to hold energy. Because if you don't have proper boundaries, you don't feel safe to hold more energy, because you don't have that sense of safety set up. You don't have that sense of grounding set up. And other people don't feel safe around you, and you don't feel safe around other people because you haven't established proper boundaries. And the whole people pleasing thing is a result of having no boundaries, right? You have to be able to understand where you start and stop and where other people start and stop. Okay, let me know if this is making sense. So every time you up level your money, you have to have better boundaries, because you have to have a bigger container to bring more money in. That's just how it works. And you have to feel safe to be able to receive it. And if you don't have a proper boundaries of what you're available for and what you're not available for, you can't allow more in. It just doesn't work energetically. So, what I'm seeing with so many people is this direct connection between boundaries and money, and also the trauma piece, right? So, every time we heal trauma, we up level our boundaries because we realize what we are requiring out of a relationship, what we're willing to put up with, and what we're not willing to put up with. So we set a higher boundary and then we're able to make more money. And I've seen it with myself, and I've seen it with everybody that I'm working with, basically. So every time you heal trauma, your boundaries get better because so basically what trauma is, it was an infringement on your boundaries. But when you were young, you didn't really realize that, so you just thought that it was okay not to have boundaries, right? And a lot of times our parents don't model good boundaries to us, and we think it's okay for other people to impede on our boundaries because that's what was modeled to us. And then we don't understand why we're feeling frustrated or annoyed at people or upset at people, or just overall like annoyed, upset, bothered, whatever it is, angry. So, so our boundaries were infringed upon. So every time you heal another layer of trauma, your boundaries just get better and better and better. And that's what I'm seeing a lot with people this week. So I think this week, like I said, there's this big opportunity to heal one of these deeper layers of trauma, one of these like core wounds that kind of feel sticky. It's one of those things that like you knew was there, but it just felt like it was not something you could face or not something you could shift. Now you have the opportunity to shift it, and it is going to shift if you put the work in and you get the support around it, because that is like the energy shift that I'm seeing happening this week. And additionally, what I mentioned before is the fact that you're going to like see this new layer or new level of what you're meant to be sharing with the world, like what your unique gifts are on a deeper level, or you're going to access them differently because you're clearing this deeper layer of muck that has previously just been there, kind of suppressing these deeper gifts that you have to share with the world. So this week, it feels like this week, and even just the weeks leading up into January and around the holidays, we're going to be seeing some of these energies of going to this deeper layer within yourself and then accessing your gifts in an even deeper way. Okay, so let me know if this is resonating for you, if this is making sense. But there's a lot of opportunity right now. You know, like everybody that I'm working with, everyone in my group programs and my clients that I'm working with one-on-one are making these like really miraculous shifts. And it's taking like a really short amount of time is something I'm noticing, especially with the energies that we've been feeling in the fall. It feels like there's this speeding up happening, this acceleration of energies. And what I'm noticing for people, especially if they're like really showing up and doing the work, is that they're able to clear something and shift something that like previously might have taken months within a matter of like days or a week because of this acceleration of energies that we're seeing. So there's a really potent opportunity right now to really shift things. And I think that you know, we're going to be seeing more and more chaos, is what it feels like to me, on a global scale, like on the world stage, especially as we're moving into 2022. But for those of us that are really showing up and doing the work and raising our levels of consciousness and really healing our trauma, because healing your trauma is how we change the world. That's the message that has been shown to me over and over and over again. So those of us that are really dedicated to showing up for ourselves and clearing our trauma and sharing our gifts with other people so that they can do the same thing, it's going to be easier for us than for the people who are not doing the work, right? And who are kind of like putting their heads in the sand and not wanting to look at themselves, because that, what I keep seeing for like, you know, the next few years is like, even astrologically, we are being called to really look at ourselves and look at how we actually feel, what we actually want, who we really are, who we want to be, and what kind of life you really want to live. Because that is what is going to be of greater importance moving forward. So it's less about, just like living your life and following these programs and just kind of blindly going along with everything. And it's more about like this individual and collective expansion of like why you're really here and what you're really capable of and what you're really meant to do. That's what the guides keep showing me over and over and over again, is like helping people remember who they really are and why they came to this planet, because that's what like this great awakening is all about. And that's what I'm seeing really amping up as we move into 2022. But as that amps up, there's going to be more darkness amping up, more chaos, more stuff that we're seeing on a global scale that's going to be like, oh my God, this is insane. And it already is insane, right? With everything that's going on right now, it's fucking crazy. But it feels like that's going to continue. But like I said, it gets easier for those of us who are really showing up and doing the work. So let me know if that is making sense, but that is really what I'm tuning into. So this week, here's what you can do. Really asking yourself, what is the big thing that I'm shifting? And you already know what it is. So if you don't know, then I would start journaling on it, because a lot of times when you journal on it, it helps you process your feelings and emotions. A lot of times we don't even know what we're feeling until we actually just sit down and start journaling and start really feeling into it, because we can be on autopilot a lot, where we're just going about our day and we're not really noticing the more subtle energies that we're experiencing and the deeper emotions that are running through us. So there is something big that you are shifting right now. And if you don't know what it is, then journal on it and reflect on it, and really allow yourself to open up to what that possibility is, and then get the support around shifting it. Because if you do that at this time, things are really, really going to change, and you are going to understand an aspect of yourself that you have not been previously aware of. That's like really clear to me with the energies, especially this coming week and the week after. I see it very, very clearly. So really reflecting on what that is and then getting support around it is huge. So if you are like, okay, well, what do? I know that I want to clear these deeper traumas. I know that I have certain things that are holding me back from understanding my gifts on a deeper level, from stepping forward unapologetically into who I really am. How do I do that? Well, first of all, you have to get support around it. And right now, it's the perfect time, because I am doing my Raise Your Frequency sale on the Metamorphosis again. And if you don't know what the Metamorphosis is, it is my groundbreaking program to move through your trauma incredibly rapidly and efficiently so that you can step into the life that you're meant to live. And the results from it have been like astounding for even me. When I created this program, I didn't even know how powerful it was going to be to heal trauma, and still until I started seeing people go through it, and I started seeing the profound shifts that people have in their lives. I mean, most people, if you come into the Metamorphosis with like a full-time job that you don't really want anymore, most people will like quit that job and start their business and become successful at it, if that's what you're wanting to do, right? Some people come into it and they are wanting to create a relationship, and a lot of people will either create a relationship, or their relationship that they're currently in will completely shift and change. So because once you actually start to shift these deeper core energies, these deeper patterns that we don't even know we're running until they're pointed out to us, then everything around you changes. So even though you might have a goal of like, making more money or creating a relationship. It's never about the thing. It's always about the deeper core energies, the deeper patterns that are running within you. And once we can shift those, then everything around you changes. And that's why things start to just seem miraculous, because you're like, oh my God, like this thing just showed up and I didn't have to do anything because you cleared out these deeper layers of trauma and these deeper energy patterns and unconscious dynamics that you run without even knowing it, right? So that's a lot of what we do in the program, is you using the tools that I give you to clear these things out, have the awareness around it, get my support to point it out to you and say, hey, this is what's going on, this is what you need to do, and then you move through it quickly, and then things start to really change. So what I'm offering right now is $1,000 off the program. Plus you get 2 one-on-one sessions with me, which normally I don't offer one-on-one sessions in the Metamorphosis. And then you also get, I also have an extended payment plan option, along with a bonus of my Birth Story Breakthrough digital course, which is like really profound tools to heal your birth story, which is part of what we do in the Metamorphosis, because a lot of times the story and circumstances around your birth are profoundly impacting the way that you live your life, and you probably don't even know it. So we clear that and we heal that, and then we work through all your different relationships and completely shift everything. And it's weekly group calls, plus you get digital access to all of my tools that you have for life. So all of my graduates still go back and do the tools all the time, and still get results from it. So that in itself is a huge value, because there's like 10 breathwork sessions, like 6 or 7 meditations, a bunch of videos, a ton of journaling prompts, and you have it all available to you for the rest of your life. So it's really, really profound. And I'm going to be talking about it more next week with some of the graduates. I'm doing a roundtable next Thursday where I'm talking to some of the women who have done the Metamorphosis, so you can kind of get an idea of what their results were, which are all really profound. But yeah, it's a big deal. Like I said, I didn't realize how insanely powerful it was until people started going through it. But based on my experience with working with traumatized children for 10 years, plus just my psychic abilities, and this dealing with trauma being the thing that I do best, it ends up being such a life-changing, profound experience. So if you are feeling called to this, just message me and I can send you the details. The sale is going to be running until the 24th. So, just reach out to me and we can chat about it, but I will add in some extra bonuses if you sign up before then. So just reach out to me and we can chat about it if you are really ready to make some really big changes and you're meant for more. That you kind of keep like hitting the same wall, like maybe you move forward, but then it seems like you always kind of hit the same block, the same thing, or you keep repeating the same patterns in relationships where like maybe you keep having the same issues with your partner, or you keep attracting the same kind of person, or you notice you always have the same dynamic with your boss, or whatever it is, anything where you keep repeating it and you're not sure like what it is or how to move past it. Guaranteed, it's an unconscious relationship dynamic. It's a trauma that you're not even aware of, and that's what we shift and change and dismantle within the Metamorphosis. So just reach out to me and we can chat about it. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And that is about all for this week. I am going to record a podcast right now. And then also next week, I have another episode coming out on my podcast, Reclaiming Consciousness. If you haven't listened to it yet, I highly recommend. It's super awesome. I've had amazing guests on, and I have some really awesome guests lined up for you guys. I'm not going to give it away, but some really awesome people that you probably know. So, that is all. I will see everybody next week. Next Thursday, we'll be doing the roundtable. So I'll be doing that in lieu of my live video. And have a great weekend, everyone. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll talk